finding
lashes forward. That's going to be the seismic shove, and Raze falls down to first blood. Slicing Maelstrom just deletes out the rest. Yatoro Mayashi is there on the side. Paz is also coming up with the barrels. Going to answer it back for one. It's a 1-for-1 trade, and Paz is still alive. It's now going to be two, and Japan are starting to come alive. Yatoro Mayashi is pumping that damage out, but pop goes the Swain, and he answers back into a kill. Once pumping out the damage, there's going to be a four-man Hemo playing. Baron is getting smited up, and it's going to get taken down. It's a kill, however, answered out for Pentagram. They found themselves too. They're looking for more. Paz is on the flank, looking to turn it onto Raze, as he is going to find his opening. He's going to find his window, and Japan have turned this around. Raze is going in with the slicing Maelstrom. He's only managed to lock up one, and he is instantly deleted. He's trying to put the damage down, and that's going to be two for Pentagram. They're still not done. Ryoma takes it to the air with the Demonic Ascension, but he is deleted down, and they are finding everything they need. Pentagram crushed Chiefs, and at 46 minutes, Pentagram turned the game around against Chiefs and crushed them. Hello and welcome back to Rift Rivals Day 1 here at the Battle for the Pacific Rift, as we are going through into Game 4 of the day. Direwolves will be taking on the Kuala Lumpur Hunters. My name is Jake Hiprain Matthews, and joining me here on the caster desk is Jake Spawn Tiberi and Zach Rusty Pie.
We got it.
I got it.
There. You have a first name.
Almost got there. But we have an interview coming up from Nick Boy, and he's going to be interviewing Ramune from Pentagram.
I'm here with Ramune, Pentagram's mid laner. Congratulations on the win. Starting at the top, how did you feel when you saw Chiefs were building such a tanky composition? Were you tempted to adjust the game plan?
短期な相手の構成を見てどのように感じましたか？
相手の構成を見て、とりあえず僕たちの構成の方がレートゲームが強いので、とりあえずゆっくり耐えてやってました。はい。
When we saw their team comps, we feel like we have more rate carry potentials, and so we're sure we can win the game.
And a lot of that relied on showing an extraordinary amount of patience throughout the game. You started strong, and then Chiefs clawed their way back mid-game. How did you go about slowing down the pace of the game so that you could get the items you needed?
中盤以降にチーフが、かなりスノーボールをして有利な状況を築いていく中で、どういうふうに耐えて、終盤につなげていきましたか？
そうですね、中盤以降は僕が結構キャッチされて死んだりして、で相手の構成がすごくバロンとかドラゴンがすごく遅い構成なので、僕一人が死んで、その後4人の仲間が頑張ってやってくれたので、最後集団戦勝てて無事勝つことができました。
In the mid game, I got caught a lot, and the team fight started with 5 versus 4. But the team held it up pretty well and then carried us to their late game.
And then there was obviously that really lengthy pause in the middle of the game. How do you keep your focus during a pause that long?
ゲームの途中にポーズがあったんですけれども、集中力を欠かさずにいた秘訣というのは何でしょうか？
いや、僕は結構テンパってたんですけど、チームがすごく強かったので、はい、特に何もありません。
Honestly, I was a little bit panicked during the pause, but team was pretty chill, so it was fine.
Yeah, you just fed off the chill of everybody else. And then finally, we saw earlier today USG and Dead FM both fall. How does it feel being the first team from your region to be able to take out a victory tonight?
残念ながら日本のチームが2チームとも負けてしまったんですけれども、最初の、日本チームとして勝ったチームとしての気持ちはどんなものでしょうか？
そうですね、他のチームは負けてしまいましたが、まだ勝つことは可能なので、残りの試合を全部全力でやっていきたいと思います。はい。
Although the other two teams lost and we're the first one, we're pretty sure that we can win all the other games and advance to the group stage of the final stage. So.
Well, I love that confidence. I'm looking forward to it. I hope so. I hope we have a big battle on our hands over the course of the next 4 days. Back to you guys.
Thank you very much. And yeah, there's only one country at the moment, well, one region, sorry, at the moment, that remains undefeated, and that is Southeast Asia. Can Direwolves play upset here?
Ah, the old 1 out of 1 sample size. I love it. Mineski obviously carrying through for the Southeast Asian Tour. And yeah, I mean, they played very well. They played, you know, the funnel style comp and something that the Direwolves would be very familiar against. So potential there for the Direwolves to create an upset?
Yeah, I mean, it's always possible the Direwolves can prevent the 100% win rate on the day for Southeast Asia, prevent that anomaly of 1-0 being the case by the end. But I do wonder, as again, you're the OPL rep as well, like how confident they can deal with it whilst the practice is there. So that's the thing.
Not very confident there,
Yeah.
but let's meet our team from the OPL. It is obviously going to be the Direwolves, and they are taking on the Southeast Asian team, the Kuala Lumpur Hunters, who are arguably the strongest team from Malaysia at the moment.
Yeah, it certainly is. Malaysia, not obviously a reason that we've seen all that much come out of Southeast Asia. Previously, the GPL. Generally, you'd see the Vietnamese team as well as the Thai teams come out as a representative. So really looking forward to what they have to show us today. Obviously, very exciting. 80 carry in their lineup, and really looking forward to seeing how they perform on the stage.
Well, we're going to have a little look at our teams, and our first roster of the day will be the Direwolves. BioPanther in the top lane, Fire is their jungle triple in the mid, and King and Cupcake is the bot lane duo.
Yeah, BioPanther at his first international tournament as well, of course. Thankfully for him,
Regional.
it is going to be on home soil regardless. So it's not a bad place for him to kick that one off.
Absolutely, and this is a player that they do try and protect. He has only got a 46% kill participation, has been left a lot of the time on tank duty, played a couple of games of Aatrox, one very good game, one game got absolutely dismantled, was down 100 CS when he had 82 CS in the game. It's a pretty big deal. So
Yeah, it is.
really interested to see how they can protect this young top laner, subbing out actually dropping your MVP of last season in Chippies after a poor MSI performance was a statement by the Direwolves, and now BioPanther needs to repay some of that in this game.
Well, the team taking them on, obviously, from the OPL, and that is the Kuala Lumpur Hunters. Southeast Asia, sorry. Messing my words up. Shiro in the top lane. Kaspel is their jungler. Hedge in the mid. And I'm actually not going to even attempt that bot lane.
Azora Vecchi.
There we go. Azora Vecchi, yes!
And it's Superior.
I haven't written down, yeah.
It's Superior. That is such a funny name. I actually am a big fan of him.
I
Apparently,
saw a lot of letters and just got confused.
apparently he's a Thresh one trick, Rusty.
I mean,
Your man.
I'm more excited at the fact that he added area to what his original name was just Soup.
Soup,
I
yep.
thought that was just such a good name. And you keep the pun, you make it work. Thresh one trick's not really, man. It's more Egypt, man.
You used to play a lot of Thresh.
Yeah, true.
But this is a team, as I said, going up, especially if they have been scrimming a lot, because like all we have to go off from this team is what we saw from Mineski, which isn't all that much, because obviously not even from the same country, but same region, scrim partners. If they are going to play things like the Super Kaiser comp, it does require a lot of that coordination. I want to see if they can make it work.
Yeah, and Azora Vecchi seems to be someone that you can actually reliably rely on
Yeah.
to carry. It's weird to say that word twice. He's played in the LMS. He disappeared to the LMS, came back as an AD carry when he was a mid laner beforehand, so seems to know what it takes to play with the big dogs and get those victories, and it may be something that we see here.
Yeah, and you did ask how the Direwolves do handle the, the super comps or the funnel comps, whatever you want to call them. They play against them well. Order, I know everyone's going to meme right now, but we played funnel comp against Tectonic. One of our primary scrim partners was the Direwolves, and they had absolutely no problems with it either. So looking forward to seeing if they can translate that onto stage.
A little bit of insight there as we are into picks and bans. Nocturne, Aurelia, Kaiser, and Morgana all taken off the board so far.
The Nocturne being removed, something that we were expecting perhaps coming into this one was the Nocturne to be
Absolutely.
seen by Kuala Lumpur Hunters.
But Shern is a real good carry jungle player. At the moment, playing a lot of Hecarim, playing a lot of Nocturne. Anything that he can get pushing lanes with and then just take as much farm off the map as possible and turn into a late game team fighting threat, Shern will take it. He's just so damn aggressive, and I love the fact that they are respecting that and getting rid of the best junglers on the patch.
Well, there's going to be the Talia taken away from KLH. I was looking to lock in their last ban. And what are you expecting to see first picked here? I know we still got one ban to go, but where's the priority here?
I mean, the priority can be really up in the air. Like, if you want just a staple team fighting comp, things like Ornn, very, very good. I mean, if you want to go towards a little bit more of, the carry top laners, we haven't seen much of Darius yet, but he's seen so much presence elsewhere, and with Aatrox reworked, would be one of the best top laners. Really is up in the air this patch.
Yeah, very curious, of course, that they started with the Zoe. I was even going to say perhaps the Morgana once again as an opportunity to flex, but with the Kaiser gone, Morgana banned. Direwolves have said negate that entire idea, throw it out the window. We're playing a standard game.
And the thing is, Triple does play Assassins. And one of the things that shuts down Zoe in a big way are Assassin mid laners like LeBlanc. So I would not be surprised if they just held that pick. but then go at the mid laner of KLH and really try and shut it down.
Well, Swain will be the lock-in for Dives. We've seen so much priority on the Swain today. Constantly in presence in picks and bans.
I mean, that's very much an OPL thing from what I could tell as well. They're always on red side firstly, and they are always picking themselves the Swain on that first pick, and alongside a tank, always with it.
Always an engaged tank as well.
This is real OPL draft. I mean, the thing about OPL is like the mini LPL is very much still alive and well. Heavy team fight meta, ability to just continually go at each other. That's why I said I was so confused by Detonation Focus Me, because Japan slowed the game down, OPL speeded up, and to just go at the Chiefs the way they did was very strange. While Direwolves actually absorbed more farm than the Chiefs and arguably play better under high-pressure situations. So I think if this is going to be something that the OPL is looking to replicate, Direwolves will do it the best.
Well, Trundle Ezreal is going to be the pick up here from the Southeast Asian team. Going to see what Direwolves look to lock it as their final pick in pick phase 1.
Seeing a trend here, though, from all of the blue side teams going against the Oceanic side, and that is not meeting them, not matching fire with fire. That is going for pick compositions, trying to out-finesse your opponents.
And that's so hard to do, right? You've already got Trundle for a little bit of disengage, but honestly, if Ornhorn comes out and you run over the top, Trundle does not all that much. And Cupcake picking up the Alistar only adds more to this flavor of let's run over the top of our opposition. Let's not give them time to think, time to breathe on the stage. You know, we're at home. We're very used to where we are right now. Let's just continue this tempo.
I feel like it's super likely that the Swain goes towards the bottom lane position now with that Alistar secure. It gives them so much threat in the lane for kills.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, King is one of those players that does play absolutely everything. He's played a couple of games of Jace even in the bottom lane this split. A little bit of Vladimir, a little bit of Ryze. So, you know, Swain wouldn't surprise me all that much. In saying that, Triple really is one of those players that does play everything in League of Legends. So if they do have to move it around, still very confident that Steven can play that in the mid lane.
Well, that's going to be the Tahm Kench, the Yasuo removed. Lots of Yasuo bans, lots of focus on that champion. No one wants that snowballing.
Well, already you've got double knock-up into heavy bruiser in the Swain. Like, Yasuo on top of that just makes the comp even more successful and also shuts down a lot of the poke through the win wall.
It's a very smart ban, and I mean, unfortunately for the Direwolves, the Kaiser's already been banned away, something that may have been very useful for their composition alongside that. So Kuala Lumpur Hunters can afford to go for a target ban as their second ban here if they choose, or just remove some compositional extras.
Ooh, okay. Well, Kindred, we've actually seen a little bit more play recently.
Score played it last night, KT, went 12-2 or something. Had an absolute masterclass in the champion. If you want to learn how to play Kindred after the Rift Rivals broadcast is over tonight, go load that VOD up, maybe check it out. But, you know, Graves, similar.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned that he loves the Hecarim potentially as well. Graves, the ranged version of it, higher clear speed as well against that Trundle. Sets himself up nicely to perhaps look towards those lanes who can provide the crowd control for him anyway.
Yeah, and this was one of the things we saw out at MSI, where Trundle was getting such high priority and people were coming up creative ways to shut it down. Graves was the one that, when executed well, just outshone the rest.
Poppy just got locked in. Okay, what do we make of this? I haven't seen Poppy for quite a while now.
It's seen like every week in the OPL. So OPL teams will be real used to it. Mimic, big Poppy player. Chippy's big Poppy player. Biopanther, I believe, does also play the pick. It's just a high damage tank, to be honest. Poppy does a ridiculous amount of damage.
What Poppy doesn't do, though, is engage very well. So she's super reliant on getting flanks off if she wants to engage at all. But for the most part, it's about disengaging. And the Shen, very similar vein.
As their whole comp is.
Yep. They're all about kiting, poking back. Zoe and Ezreal are going to be the bulk of the damage. Trundle can misposition you on force summoner spells, so there is outplay there from the Kuala Lumpur Hunters. And I like the way they've rounded this out from the Direwolves to compensate.
One thing they do have for engage, though, is Trundle Pillar into Wallbang. Something that Poppy does allow, especially Poppy and Nivea comps, old school. You know, Poppy Trundle is having a piece of terrain that you can create does make the engagement easier.
It's going to be fun to see exactly how this is going to go down. Like you said, though, Direwolves very used to playing into this Poppy. Now, looking at these team comps, where's the obvious kind of standout things? What are you looking from both of these teams?
I'm looking at the Direwolves and thinking somehow they got a full priority bottom side of the map. If Shern is able to path smart at the start of the game, he's going to be able to absorb so much farm And then he can just go top with red buff and shut Puppy down and just push her out of the lane. I think Direwolves have drafted very well.
I mean, frankly, I feel like he could go anywhere he wants on the map. Karma has decent push early as well.
Yep.
The 2v2 between them as well is quite strong if they get to start the fight, if they're next to the targets. If Trundle catches someone, then of course things can shift here. But the less obvious thing that stood out to me for no real reason was that there is an Ornn and a Trundle on both sides, and a lot of the OPL composition is fairly kiteable. So if things go a bit awry from all of the made terrain that comes up, can be awkward to navigate.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially if, you know, one of the couple of damage threats on the Direwolves get hit by a Sleepy Trouble Bubble and just blown up. You do not want to fight this game, you know, mismatched numbers if you are the Direwolves. You want all 5 members. KLH have a very finicky composition, I would say. You know, they have to get it right the first time around, otherwise they're going to get run over. But in saying that, they are hard to catch if they do get it right.
And one of the things about the Zoe as well is that pseudo mobility. We did see Ramone actually get caught up quite a lot in that last game on Pentagram. And even in the interview, he said, yeah, mid-game, I just kept getting caught, man. And the rest of the team just carried me through that stage. But you can fall into that where you feel very mobile on Zoe, and then suddenly you're in a 4v5.
I will say a big difference between the last game and this one is that there is a carry option on the Direwolves team. They've got the Graves this time around, they've got the physical damage, they've got the potential objective control, and they've got that late game damage output that the Chiefs were lacking. Something that will do wonders here, especially if they continue to catch the Zoe out of position.
Well, we've loaded through onto the Summoner's Rift for the 4th time today. Direwolves looking to continue Australia's streak.
Of 0?
Southeast Asia. No, Australia are 1 and 2.
Uh-oh.
No, they're 1 and 1 at the moment, Australia.
Yeah, they just lost last game. How is you a streak if you lost?
Look, man, I'm
streak
trying to be
starts
nice. I'm trying to be nice.
No, it just sounds like sarcasm. Like, it doesn't sound like you're trying to be nice at all.
Hey,
It's
this is
just
the
a
Australian British thing
gentle
right now, isn't it?
ribbing.
Maybe I was poking fun.
But right now, I mean, Direwolves, I want to say, like, I don't know if, like, I don't know how much I'm giving away, right? But I would not be surprised if Triple built full AP on this. So many of the Karmas in Oceania with mage bottom lanes go like Athenes into Luden's Death Cap. And Swain with that kind of build, because the Athenes just continually tops you up during team fights, it's such an item we haven't seen for ages. Really makes Swain a pain in the bum to deal with, because he's very kiteable, yes, but with a Karma Shield not. And the constant refresh of the top-up just makes him like nearly impossible to kill.
I actually think that the Athenes for Karma works with the entire Direwolves composition. You're having Graves that gets the grit that is very tanky, and you can continue to heal him up. He's taking damage to be tanky, so I think there's a natural synergy to consider there. Not going to exist as much on the Kuala Lumpur Hunters side, but what they do have is the potential to catch you out, very much so, if they can get that Zoe rolling.
Well, for the moment, pretty standard start. No one went for anything cheeky.
A little bit cheeky from both junglers, because both of them started in Fog. Both bottom and mid and top lane started in lane, so no one really knows where Shern is in saying that. Ward did spot out where Caspiel had started, so a little bit of advantage gained for Shernflyer at this stage, I would say.
It's just been spotted on a ward.
Yeah, he immediately went to the Scuttle Crab, though, with that knowledge, so priority was very clearly there for him. Caspiel, whilst it looks like he's out of mana on Trundle, what you never really remember is that the Scuttle Crab gives you a ridiculous amount of mana, so don't you worry about that Trundle. He's about to go to that blue buff feeling quite happy. Look at that. Isn't that ridiculous?
It's cool. I like it.
I always forget about it.
Makes jungle pathing actually very fun on the current path, because you can kind of do whatever you want. Shern is in behind the bottom lane, potential to go for a cheeky look down the bot right now.
The only thing about that is it's very hard, especially considering how pushed they are, and when you're trying to gank an Ezreal Shen, it's a pretty safe lane. Especially when you're an auto-attack heavy jungler as well.
He's probably not killing anyone, but he can put down damage. And if you have started, you know, one potion on an Ezreal, especially with a Doran's Blade, being shoved out of lane might be enough for an advantage there.
Yeah, damage or a summoner spell is always a big win when Alistar rather can flash Pulverize later on. So you take those small victories in Graves, farm-heavy type of situations. Any opportunistic ganks are worthwhile.
Well, for a minute, I don't think Caspiel was actually going to go into top, but decided not to go for Vilepanther underneath his turret. And we've had a lot of focus on these junglers and their pathing so far. I want to turn our attention back towards this mid here. Our hedge on the Poppy, you did say, you know, he's kind of the guy who needs to get that one shot, kind of pop someone. Or Triple, it's going to be a bit more quieter for him. He's basically a support. And I say basic, he is a support this game.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Karma, one of those champions that, even though as a support, has a very good levels 1 through to 5, and then scales so well. Actually does a fair amount of damage when you get low cooldown. And then the utility she brings kind of second to none in that role.
Yeah, for sure. Karma and Lulu are the two that you always look towards as staples for supportive mid laners for certain. Not going to be a tank, but makes carries feel much more tanky. And with that Athene's, like we mentioned before, even more so above all else. So that's what you're looking at here. I'd say Triple's role in the game is about controlling mid-level 1 to 5, not killing level 1 to 5. Though if you ask me, my 1v1 champion, if someone comes at me, is actually Karma.
Ooh, good engage coming up with the headbutt pulverized. Zoroveki forced to use the jump out with that arcane shift, and he's going to be A-okay, but great burst of damage there from the Direwolves.
Yeah, a little bit interesting there from Cupcake. He did have a fully charged stun. He could have got Zoroveki's flash 100% guaranteed there with the flash ignite. However, doesn't go for it. Instead, just takes the positive trade. As we mentioned, Alistair having the proactive tools, always nice, Rusty.
And saving the summoner spells above all else for future use. As Cupcake, this is the 3rd trip we've seen him use this sweeping lens on. Hang on.
Shurnfire has found out Caspell, but he has got the backup on Cupcake as well. Flash, headbutt, gets turned around, and Shurnfire picks up first blood. Triple gets chunked out as well in the meantime. Just going to be the one for Direwolves.
And this is the thing about the Direwolves. They play around their jungle. We said, why didn't he use the summoner spells? Well, it was to collapse onto Shurn's opponent, pick him up first blood, get him accelerated in this game.
And they make sure Shurnfire gets it as well. Very delicate trade to be seen, but Cupcake with the flash pulverized just sits there, charges up that stun, and Shurnfire plays around the vision control that he had, ensuring the kill was his. But I will say barely in their attempt to do that.
Absolutely, and before Shurnfire played in the OPL, the Chiefs Esports Club had won 100% of the OPL titles. Since Shurn came to the OPL, the Direwolves have won 100% of the OPL titles. Such a huge carry threat for this organization, really breathed new life into them, and just continues to be the superstar player.
Well, now we're starting to see the push start to come through for this bot lane, but King has got a big wave to work with. Once his support comes back, I expect to see Direwolves regain control of the bot side.
And speaking of Cupcake, whilst he is now coming back on your screen, note that he rushed Boots of Mobility, and note that he has Hex Flash. So 2 staples for an Alistar naturally, but when you start to feel yourself, when you want a map to open up a little bit more, you can afford to rush that instead of, you know, changing your Targon's Brace to a Relic Shield or anything. Shurnfire also looking to accelerate that, trying to map out the Trundle.
Yeah, a lot of false security right now in the middle for Hedge. He goes in.
Oh, he's even used the ulti, but it's not going to be enough because he actually manages to get a sleep down on Hedge. Just runs out there. Shurnfire still on the chase, does have that collateral damage as well available.
They're collapsing.
Here comes the Call of the Forge God. They're trying to turn this around. Shurnfire pumping that damage out. The collateral damage isn't quite enough, but the flash forward into the queue. Keeper's Verdict hits absolutely no one. Caspell able to get out, but Biopanther, he really wants this. He's going in with a flash. He's going in with the tower dive, but Shiro is here to dissuade him. And it's just going to be the 1 kill for Direwolves.
Yeah, not enough damage there, not enough cooldowns from Biopanther. Cannot find himself the kill. It's just the catalyst, no cooldown reduction. Very close, but very good overall from the Direwolves play. As there's your Hex Flash from Cupcake. Just trying to sneak his way around.
Certainly is. I think he was waiting to see whether it was just the Ezreal down there, whether Superior had left Zoroveki. I like that out of Biopanther. We already said, you know, lots of questions for the young man coming into this, replacing Chippies. However, flashing forward aggressively, rotating down first. These are all real positive signs for the very young player of the Direwolves. He's played 4 series in a Premier League. That's it. Yeah. 4 of them and already going for it.
And it's actually what I'm really liking about the OPL. From what I've seen so far, just constant aggression, always looking for those picks. You know, they're never down and out. They've always want to look for something, and in this game, they're definitely not down at all because they are 2K up over at KLH.
This is one of those games that doesn't feel like 2000, you know? You definitely get a sense that Direwolves are in control of the map, that they're in control of the pace, and they are stopping quite a lot of Hunters from doing anything, but 2,000 is a significant amount when you actually take that into consideration. And you don't really see it even looking at the scoreboard, but mid lane's a big deal.
Yeah, absolutely. Mid lane, 500 gold, 1,000 in the jungle. Really, that's the 2 positions. Everywhere else is just kind of plus or minus a couple of 100 gold, so not all that much.
Cupcake's channeling that Hex Flash. He's over the wall. Instant Protobelt out by our Hedge to make sure he does not get picked off.
And it's not even going to be Athene's, it's just going to be full AP Karma. So the Oceanic Special, and let me tell you about full AP Karma.
Oh, please.
She throws nukes. Like, her Q hurts. Like, you just don't expect... Everyone that's played against Karma professionally is used to, like, Athene's Ardent. That thing tickles you. helps your 80 carry a lot, but doesn't do much for the Karma herself. But when you get hit by a death cap, you know, maybe Luden's Echo Karma, it starts to really stack up quickly.
I have been playing Morgana mid lane at the moment because everyone just thinks you're a support.
Same thing.
Yeah, and then you just press Q and they get one hit. No one expects it. No one sees it coming. So take that at home. Freelo right there for you.
Well, Direwolves, with all the control they've got on the map so far, have been able to pick themselves up the first Drake, and that is the first time we have seen a Mountain Drake as the first Drake. It's been Oceans otherwise.
Yeah. A refreshing change this time for the Direwolves with that snowball, having that early lead. Getting the Mountain Drake does help a lot, especially on getting those objectives moving forward. Something the Chiefs wish they had, perhaps.
Yeah.
Just a little bit, I guess.
Absolutely.
Hedge trying to look for some damage. Missed absolutely everything, so Triple's quite content. As Caspell
He's going to
is
get
actually
spotted.
going on to this Rift Tail, but yeah, like you said, Pink Wall comes down.
This is really bold to actually continue it because Biopanther does have ultimate. Shern is massive at the moment. Red Smite completed jungle item. Do not want to mess with that, dude.
I think the reason why you saw Direwolves not not completely contest that was the fact that mid was still pushed by our hedge, so Triple would always be a little bit behind
He's
the play.
persistent right now, Caspiel. He made it angry. He found the eye, and I feel like he was stuck in this mini game, and he still is. I hope Shelly, get him. Show him who's boss.
That's the bias coming through there.
I think like one thing that will surprise you about the Direwolves, and I mean this in the nicest way possible, is that if it means getting to a team fight, they lose 6 creeps, they will get to the team fight. They will 100% collapse. They're a team that very much is built around being a cohesive unit. And Triple is, once again, he came across from Avant Gaming. They were the 5th place Oceanic organization. He was kind of never one of the big 3 mid laners, you know. Wasn't a Fantix, wasn't a Claire, wasn't a Swiffer, but has certainly well and truly made his mark in OPL.
Yeah, absolutely risen above the ranks here, Triple, especially at MSI, those internationals. And when you really put that into context, it just means that Triple hits the big stage and he hits it harder than you would expect.
Oh, now Shernfire is hanging around the Rift Herald. I don't think he's going to overly commit for it yet, but actually the rest of the team are starting to collapse. King takes a bit of a chunk from the Paddle Star.
But King is up here. I think that's the thing that we need to highlight above all else. They've lane swapped Direwolves. Biopanther is bottom lane with Teleport. Herald is a big priority for them, evidently enough that they will send their resources bottom and bring their duo lane up.
This is this big unit you were talking about as Sleepy Bubble Trouble does connect into the taunt. They're looking to turn it around, and Triple is just deleted. Shernfire now on the run, being chased down, but that is a dangerous place for Caspell to be in. A very slow, tight corridor.
Okay.
Instantly gets the Shen ultimate on top of him, and
Got him.
just gets picked up by the Q. Great headbutt as well into the wall onto Soul. He's on the run though, and Cupcake gets out. Direwolves find themselves a kill, and they're able to walk out quite comfortably.
Yeah, it is just a 1-for-1 trade in the end. You know, Caspiel fought Triple in the mid lane. Triple didn't use anything before he went down. Had stopwatch, had flash, just kind of sat there and took it. Really nice play, actually, out of iHedge, I think, on the Zoe to be able to flash forward aggressively with a picked-up flash. So, you know, everything kind of going the way, and then they just threw it all back by overcommitting.
And it was messy. I will say the end result, it was disjointed. No one was really working cohesively. Cupcake going in while Shernfire is kiting 2 people away. And all these fights on separate flanks is a big part of why it ends up as a 1-for-1. There was no real structure, and it wasn't really possible, to be fair, in that fight.
And let's talk about why they swapped, because they'd already taken bottom lane turret. However, Swain very short range, Shernfire very short range. They're not going to be able to push down these turrets. So all of a sudden you'd say, how do you open up the map? Well, Rift Herald helps you do that. We used to talk about it against Victor, against Azir. Zoe is in that category of infinite wave clear if she has blue buff. So Direwolves will put a lot of priority, especially if Dragon is down, on the top side of the map.
That's why I'm surprised rather, we haven't seen even a little bit more Ziggs running around in this meta, just picked up as a niche pick here and there. Just does way too much work at holding lanes, particularly bottom being able to push. But regardless, this is what you do when you have the opposite of that. I like it from the Direwolves, and the Herald priority is very much warranted.
Has been spotted out though. Soul Panther fully aware of that. Just going to instantly try to clear that ward out. They don't even want to remotely contest it. His Cupcake is there on the flank as well. And Direwolves looking to go uncontested for the moment. All 5 of them are here, and Call of the Forge Gods available. KLH recognize that and just decide to walk away.
And once again, get very used to seeing all 5 members of the Wolf Pack on the same screen. They are a team that plays the game very much on the same page, especially when they pick team fighting comps. And you can see that, once again, BioPanther walked that one. He hasn't got boots too, he's just got the brown bags. He's just footing it up towards the Rift Herald. They call, he responds.
What's that quote from Game of Thrones? The lone wolf dies while the pack survives. Definitely seeing that come out from Direwolves.
Just avoiding the lone wolf. No, I understood.
No, everyone went very quiet there.
I read the books. To me, it's A Song of Ice and Fire. I haven't watched the TV show, so I apologize.
Oh, you haven't?
No.
I read the books and watched it. I thought they were both, in their own ways, good. Some things very much upset me, though, and I will not go into it.
However, I think right now, KLH are actually in a lot of trouble. This game is not being played at their tempo. They've been shut down in multiple lanes. Azoroveki, who I was incredibly excited to see, has not really done all that much, is actually just trying to scale up to the best of his ability right now.
Yeah, remember that the last time we saw a lot of these teams, especially from the Southeast Asian region, was like patch 8.5 or 8.6 on the latest for one of these teams. And at the end of the day, that's not going to give you a sample size on what this meta does to you. And those players that can hard carry from the AD position very rarely get a chance to.
I'm glad you mentioned Azoroveki as well, because he has the highest kill participation in all of Southeast Asia, 82%. And this meta, like you said, just can be a little unkind to these ADCs. He's currently just stuck farming away, trying to hit to that mid-game point where he can really start to come alive. But Direwolves, they're just keeping the tempo up. They're keeping this game going. They want to get themselves this mountain.
Big flank here from Cupcake.
Here comes a free-man pulverize! Oh, baby, Direwolves are just deleting absolutely everyone. KLH are destroyed, are demolished. And
Massive.
That is 1-7.
Direwolves just absolutely spanked them in that fight. It's a nice wombo to watch. BioPanther with the ultimate does a lot of work, but the confidence from Cupcake King and the entire Direwolves roster to go forwards and follow up the play was magnificent.
And this is the thing, you're just going to lose the Dragon anyway. I don't understand why you're grouping up. Ezreal is not spiking, needs a Trinity Force or an Iceborne Gauntlet, definitely needs to transform on the Manamune. On the other side, you've just got all of these bruisers that want to fight right now. And with Cupcake on the flank, especially with Orn also there, I mean, this is always going to be the result.
He just stood in a bush and channeled the Hex Flash.
I don't even think that's to me, I was actually on the Kuala Lumpur Hunters side. If you're Zoe and you're looking to poke them and you don't have vision of where the rest of the Direwolves team is, you've just ulted to your death. And it's not like that gives you an escape tool either way, but you've set yourself up. You say, guys, X marks the spot, pulverize here.
Because look, he does damage.
He does a lot of damage. And that was about the E as well. Imagine if that hit.
But in saying that, the game right now, 5,000 gold for the Direwolves. They've got themselves a mountain. They've got themselves the Infernal. I mean, you hate to call things very early in the game, but this is going to be an Everest of a climb if they're going to get back into it.
You have to see exactly what KLH can actually do for the moment, because Direwolves just constantly looking for those engages and making them work in their favor. Item spikes are starting to pop up for both of these teams. You've got the Ludens on triple. He's building towards potentially that death cap. I don't really see him getting up the, what's it called, the Spellbinder.
No, probably not.
So it's probably going to be the death cap. And then, like you said, he'll be throwing nukes.
Yep, 100%. He already is. I mean, at this stage of the game, he's got, you know, penetration. He's just so over-leveled, level 12 at this stage. If he hits Ezreal or someone like that, they're just going to absolutely pop. So the Direwolves certainly in control of the pace of this game. They can do whatever the heck they want right now.
You know, with the composition that KLH have got for themselves, it's not always the easiest thing for Direwolves to engage, but what Direwolves have done so far to enable that, which is where I think things need to shift for KLH if they want to stay in this, is not being funneled into objectives, not being forced into there by vision control the Direwolves have.
And they're in trouble one more time.
Looking to turn it onto the Shen. King goes into Demonic Ascension. He is chasing him down. The Vision of Empire goes a little bit wide. Meanwhile, Schernfire taking a 1v1 versus Caspell. He does a serious amount of damage, even with that Subjugate on collateral damage. Snipes him out. And Schernfire gets the kill.
And the second time we've seen it into today's games. Do not flash in a straight line. BioPanther, meanwhile, bottom lane, has forced away Shiro.
Did that?
He Keeper's Verdict him away.
Yeah, and then he still got the
second
second headbutt. That was actually bad. I like that.
He kind of like pieced him as he did that. BioPanther will be able to pick this turret up nice and simple. Even in the top side, another turret falls for the Direwolves, and they are extending this gold lead to close to 10k. Currently 8k at the moment.
At 18 minutes in the game, they haven't utilized the Baron. They've just accelerated this game so quickly, so early. Exactly.
Okay.
Because Baron's usually the biggest thing that ends games for teams, right? They get the gold lead, maybe let's say 5k, you get those kills. Baron ends the game. But this is pretty much a game-ending lead without that.
Especially for a team that has, you know, no traditional marksman, has very short range and is heavy brawls. Normally, you have to have something like a Baron for teams to want to come fight you. The reason this game is so accelerated is because right now, KLH are just fighting over choke points, fighting over vision. Heck, they'll fight over a Raptor camp right now if you gave them the opportunity, and it's just so confusing. Because once again, they do have good scaling options.
And I will say that this feels like what the Chiefs could have done compositionally to make a bigger difference. And I mentioned this in the draft phase. I respect the Sejuani. I think Sejuani's a great pick. But I'd love to see the Babip, Nidalee, or even the Graves come out and pressure the jungle role.
Especially given the fact that Babip is such a carry player, as is shown. Lots of carry junglers in Oceania. Of course, there's a couple of pathing junglers still running around as well. Sleepy Trouble Bubble hits, but Triple gets the blue.
Tempted there, didn't quite get it, and just looking so hard for KLH to actually come back as Shiro looking to get solo killed out. Keeper's Verdict knocks him away once again. Shiro is able to walk out A-OK.
That really is a get out of jail free card for a Poppy into Ornn. It's a straight line. You just throw it down the middle. It's bowling for Ornns.
Yeah, so you say A-OK, but I'm not sure at this stage of the game your tank is supposed to be losing the tank matchup that strong. And I also am very confused as to why he has a black cleaver.
Oh. I'm being very optimistic here.
Oh, well.
Are you confused as to why he has a black cleaver?
I mean, that answers the first question of why he's losing the tank matchup.
I never look at top laners' items because they never change from tank items.
Yeah.
So now you mention it, I'm kind of just... you know what? Fair enough, I guess. You know what? If you want to carry, I don't think you need to be a tank building carry items. I think you can be a carry building carry items.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you want to build black cleaver, just play Renekton.
I want any of the other bruisers who also build it quite well.
That's not going to help, especially when a tank's ahead as well. You know, that's a big part of why BioPanther is winning these so hard. When a tank's ahead, he stays ahead.
Look at that trade. BioPanther won the trade, even though Shiro has a carry item, has a damage item. That was just max tank stuff.
Baron is now on the cards right now, and there's no real way they can stop them. And Shiro's just continually being bullied.
Shiro's getting a lot of damage thrown onto him for the moment. Shiro actually falls victim to his own pillar, but it doesn't matter.
Look at Shermfire. He's waiting for an opportunity. Trundle pillars are very good for face checking, so that's one thing that KLH have got going. Zoe Trouble Bubbles as well can blind check bushes. You'll see the animation of them falling asleep.
Well, Dire Wolves at 21 minutes are turning their attention towards Baron Nashor. Very OPL thing to do. Love these early Barons, early objectives. KLH maybe looking to try and interrupt this. We've already seen a Trundle fail to smite Steel, and you can't smite Steel if you're dead. Shen ultimate is coming down. It's not even going to finish in time. Cooler the Forge God goes out as well, and everyone on KLH are going to get knocked back as a two-man headbutt pulverized comes down. Shiro on the run. It's 2 kills over to the Direwolves. They are still not done as collateral damage snipes out the next kill. Sleepy Trouble Bubble does connect, but KLH cannot find a single opening, and they get themselves free.
This is an absolute steamroll right now. The Direwolves just start moving forward, and they just do not stop Rusty. It's the inevitable grind. They pick up 3 kills, and most likely a Baron.
Yeah, kill after kill falls. If you want to check this one, KLH, you risk dying again, but BioPanther first goes down.
They're all quite low as well. They're inside the pit. Hedge just poking out the damage. They're trying to get themselves the headbutt pulverized. They do manage to get a little bit, but Azuraveki goes golden for the moment. He's kiting and fighting away, but it doesn't quite work out. And that's going to be King with the kill, but Baron crucially stopped.
Yeah, they're going to have to recall. They're going to have to reset here, Direwolf. So you take that as a win if you're the Kuala Lumpur Hunters. That interaction at the end there, tragic for the Ezreal. He's in a smoke screen, so he just assumed the Graves would be hiding in the corner, but Sherdfire was frontlining it next to him. Very unexpected.
I'm also really surprised that they're running topside right now. Just go take yourself the free Fire Dragon that they've gifted to you.
They're delaying the
they
recall,
still
I guess.
really want this
They
one.
really want this fight. Cupcake
Right.
takes a little bit of poke, but he's able to walk out.
Might get a top lane turret.
Yeah, you might get the top outer. I think the only time you would want to push that far and for that long to stop recalls is if you're going for the Baron at the same time. You want to keep them around with no health. And you can see the vision starts to go down from KLH, but I doubt they have damage at all to do it.
That was questionable.
No
They
Ezreal.
didn't take the turret top. They're not going to have time to be able to turn back on towards Baron or the Infernal Drake.
Because they
Nothing
only
really
needed to
gained.
send Caspiel there.
Yeah.
Like, Trundle at this stage of the game will 100% eat that dragon. So now, Direwolves get the full reset and can once again set up for a fight. This time, however, they have spent gold.
That is beyond the just AP Karma build. They are nukes. There's Deathcat Ludens, probably the Zonias afterwards for survivability. Stopwatch had to get used to Baron.
3 auto attacks and a Q killed that.
Yeah, the O special, mate.
Ouch.
Welcome back home.
I'm conflicted. It's good and bad.
I mean, if you're Direwolves, you can't ask for better Drakes right now. Double Infernal and a Mountain.
Yeah.
This is perfect for them. They are starting to really pop off. You can see the gold right now.
Shen's
10
4,000 gold up.
Oh,
Yeah, he is. Oh no. He has as much gold above his opponent jungler as the Shen support has.
That's a sad way to look at the game, Rusty. Come on, glass half full.
I'm just middle of the glass right now. We're not. Glass is nowhere.
what's this, just water on a table?
Schrodinger's glass, I guess. It's just,
Well, Direwolves for now, just looking to try and get a little bit more control once again back on the map, as obviously they did get that Baron thwarted, so they're stepping back out. Biopanther got that teleport, so he's just going to look to push out this top side, bot side, sorry. The rest of the team trying to get control over the vision around the Baron. They are going to be able to cut through it so quickly.
yeah. And still the pick composition persists from KLH, so trying to set up for this objective, Direwolves. If you funnel yourself into the Baron pit, you still risk taking an abundance of damage. That's why the setup is the #1 most important part here in this game. If they can get it going, if they can find an opportunity to start the objective and force people to vamp, might be better to just turn, take that opportunity.
Schönfire actually used the E to get away. Subjugate's going to get thrown on him as well. He's trying to get some damage down, but they're turning it around. They're going in for the chase. Triple misses the Q. Sleepy Bubble Trouble connects his R-Hedge. Maybe looking for the opening. Zora Vecchi will just get deleted by King on the back end of the fight. Now that's going to be Superior, who just gets popped. A double kill onto King.
Yeah, King is absolutely massive as well. Just quietly has picked up so much gold. Just uses the stopwatch to avoid that. It's actually a full Zhonya's, and Baron now becomes the objective.
Yeah, very easy Baron to look towards now. AD carry support gone. Shen with no ultimate even to get into the fight if he comes back in time. And an abundance of damage with 2 Infernals and carries that are fed everywhere.
And this was what Oceanic fans wanted to see. No doubt are the top couple of seeds from the LJL good teams. No doubt are in the fact that Ascension is a fantastic team. But how deep is the Southeast Asian region? How deep is the LJL? Because Oceania right now feels like, you know, it's pretty crowded at the top, to be honest. Chiefs, Direwolves, Legacy, all very good.
Tectonic.
Yep, Tectonic. I mean, they're third at the moment. All very good organizations right now.
I mean, I had a call with you and Ejin before I came out here.
Yep.
And you guys said to me, the top Australian teams are looking very strong at the moment. And we saw Chiefs earlier on today really show up. Legacy aren't playing till tomorrow, but Direwolves, they just came out the door swinging. Actually, they just kicked the door down and walked onto the rift.
I mean, maybe one of the question marks is Legacy. They currently are second last. I'm sorry, Rusty, your old squad.
I'm not doing it anymore. It's okay. I can move on.
But in saying that, I think that they have had some rough performances, and especially last week, not how they would have liked to have played against Direwolves. Mimic had a bit of a shocker, so looking for them to bounce back as well, because they are a very good lineup.
Yeah.
Just uncharacteristic at this stage.
From what we've seen, though, Mimic could potentially carry the top.
Ouch! Oh, King flashed forward, did try to look for the hand. Didn't get it down, and now they're turning onto Biopanther, who forces the flash out.
They all survive, however, Direwolves are still perfectly fine, continue to push in the bottom lane, utilize that Baron buff. It was just looks at opportunities from KLH, but they're 12,000 gold down, so they are just looks, it's nothing more. Direwolves keep pushing.
They are starting to melt through these turrets with a Baron buff. That will be a tier 3 going down, and they're looking to go towards the inhibitor. Trying to find that poke, trying to find that prodding. Caspiel is getting engaged onto. The hand does connect, but they're not going to chase for a little bit more. Here comes the call of the Forge God. They are turning it around, and our hedge is deleted. Direwolves looking to close this game out nice and fast. They've got themselves 2 kills already to start out, and Shiro is next to follow. It's going to be a double kill onto the Graves. Karma gets everything they need. That is a triple onto the Graves. The Zora Vecchi uses the Flux to get out.
That'll do it. That'll be game. Direwolves in 28 minutes, 13,000 gold lead. They're going to take this one.
Well, going for a couple of glory kills. Didn't actually get that as Azora Vecchi is able to answer one back, but it matters absolutely nothing.
Direwolves at 28 minutes will take down the Nexus and will take down KLH.
Couple of styles first, as is tradition, but they do get it. They look clean doing so. They cement themselves as a big threat in this tournament, helping to carry the Oceanic region through day one.
And the thing is, Direwolves did not lose a set in first split. They have not yet lost a set in the second split of the OPL, and they're not looking to lose their first game at Rift Rivals. That was a commanding performance. That was a shellacking, to be honest. They absolutely whooped their bums.
There was a couple of question marks for me from KLH though. A couple of times where they were just, like you said, scrapping over almost nothing. Like, they were constantly chasing for fights. They were constantly trying to find those picks, and Direwolves just read them like a book.
I think the word you used correctly there is chase. That's what they spent the entire game doing. They were at the tail of the Direwolves, but they couldn't keep up, and the Direwolves slowly accelerated further and further to a point where there was no keeping up at all. And that's the thing with KLH, you know, we don't have a sample size for these guys. We don't know how they're going to play in this tournament, and from what we've seen so far, we still don't really have a sample size because they didn't get to play their own game of League.
And you do have to remember, this is second seed versus first seed, coming out of the Southeast Asia Tour and Oceania. So maybe when we see, you know, Ascension versus Direwolves, KLH versus Chiefs, you get more of an accurate reflection. My fear for them is that against the Oceanic teams, if you're just going to non-stop team fight, you need to make the early ones count because Oceania will keep coming.
And I mean, Oceania quite clearly can team fight very, very well, as we saw in that
sometimes.
game.
With a gold lead, we're very good.
So far, the team fighting's been very good. Bar one game, which did actually lose them versus Pentagram. But for the whole, so far, all we've seen today is just very different styles from all the regions.
Yeah.
Seeing the OPL put a lot of kind of priority on brawling and fighting.
We're a single track-minded region. We always have been. It's that, you know, the easiest way to get a gold lead is to kill champions.
The Osei Ram.
Absolutely, the Osei Ram. So I think that when teams like the Japanese region are able to just draw the game out, get to their item spikes, they'll actually have a very good time. But if you're just going to keep going early game, then that's probably the territory the Oceanic teams are most comfortable.
Well, that is the OPL done for today. They have a pretty good record. They've done a very good job. But we got one more game coming up, and that is going to be a Pentagram taking on Ascension. So don't go anywhere. We'll see you shortly.